You're watching BionicDance. Don't run on automatic, instead, please think.
Father Larry,
Dr. Ray.
I had a friend whose
You
mother...
had one, that's exactly
I had one
correct,
friend.
yeah.
His mother became more frail. She struggled with dementia. The latter several years, he built, by hand, he built for her an apartment, took care of her, fed her, carried her to the bathroom for a couple of years because she was immobile. He, more than almost anybody I know, sacrificed for his mother. He's an atheist.
An atheist? An atheist who isn't acting like a selfish, devil-worshipping butt munch? How can that possibly be? Let's do this.
BionicDance's YouTube channel.
Greetings, fellow space travelers. BionicDance here. Where does virtue come from? What inspires people to do good things? Our religion-y friends have one hypothesis on that particular matter, and they're gonna share it with us.
Part of the reality is everyone is created in the image and likeness of God, right? So we are all created good. So just because the reality is an atheist, he still was created by a good God, whether he believes in him or not. And the good God still is some way in his life and operating his life. That's how he can do anything good. It's because of the grace of God.
I don't know about you, but as an atheist, I find myself quite insulted by this notion. Let's ride right past the part where he doesn't even prove a God exists or that we're created in his image and talk about the part where we can only do good things because of that. If I do something nice for someone, damn it, I want credit for it. Even if nobody else acknowledges what I've done or isn't even aware I've done it, I can at least know that it was my own idea. Me. I did that. Not some god who has deputized me as their proxy. Screw that crap right in the face. I would like to see someone defend the notion that nobody can be good without God. Not just say it, show it. What is missing from us and required a god to fill that empty spot in our mental wetware? No fairy tales presented as fact. I want the science.
A Christian isn't just one. You don't become a Christian by doing good things. You're a Christian, so you do good things. But atheists are good people because they can do good things too. We believe it no matter what. But to go into Christianity, it's a much deeper reality.
So explain Christians who don't do good things, indeed, those who do awful things. I mean, okay, credit where credit is due. I've heard a lot of Christians say that an atheist can't be good, so at least this guy's acknowledging virtuous atheists. I'm still quite insulted by how he thinks we're able to do good things, but at least he's willing to admit that it's possible.
Sometimes I'll say to people, if you want an example of what Christianity can do through you, look at Mother Teresa. Okay, you find very few atheists doing what Mother Teresa did for the love of God.
Sure.
I could do a whole video series on why Mother Teresa wasn't the tower of Christian love they think she was, but Christopher Hitchens did it far better than I ever could. Seriously, go look it up. You won't be sorry.
I'll never forget, I'm sitting here, I'm about 5 pews away from her, seats away from her, and she started taking questions, and this one guy raised his hand and he says, "Mother, I have no respect for you because you do what you do for God and there is no God, and I cannot take when you go around doing all these things you do for God."
Tell me, my fellow non-believers, does this sound like any atheist you know? Religionoids always tell these stories, and they always sound so fake. The atheist in them is often really angry or intolerant, will often respond to challenges or questions in ways no atheist would, and will often concede the debate in a similarly implausible fashion.
So, and I wanted to jump over the sheets and show him God by sending him to God, but that ain't what Mother did. Mother sat there and says, "Oh, I feel so sorry for you because God is so alive and he loves you so much." And I'll never forget, I watched this. This guy melted back into his chair.
Right. Sure he did. Every atheist I know would have had more of a "yeah, right" reaction to that empty, meaningless garbage. They're not gonna sit back, chastised and lacking energy or will like a puppet with its strings cut. That's no atheist I've ever known.
Why? because she spoke to him about who she knew. She didn't argue with him, debate with him about the reasons we believe in God. She spoke to him from her own experience.
Except that's what I, as an atheist, want. I want to know the truth. If a God exists, I want to know it. I might really hate it depending on the God, but it would be amazing to have that knowledge. But that requires making faith no longer necessary, replacing it with facts, so I'm not holding my breath. But if you respond to my genuine inquiry with fortune cookie wisdom like God loves you, you're not doing yourself or me any favors.
Most of the time, the people I met, even my kids that left, they're atheists because they want to do things their way. And if they believe in God, even if their way is a good way, taking care of your mother, but to believe in God is going to cost them something.
Oh, sure, if I believed in God, it would cost me something. My integrity, my objectivity. I don't think a God exists, and it's because of the data, or lack thereof. And yeah, okay, I do like doing things my own way, but if the church expects me to conform to its standards of behavior and belief, I'm gonna need a heck of a lot more to justify it. And this isn't just an atheist versus Christian problem. What about the people in other religions? They're doing things their God's way just as much as this guy is. Can they really be accused of just wanting to do things their own way? I don't think so.
So some people say, I would rather believe things or not believe things, because then you don't have to answer to anybody. You can do completely what you want on your own.
They love framing it like this, where God is the only authority to which one must answer. And I dare him to put it to the test. Go rob somebody's house, let the world know you've done it, and see what end befalls you. I guarantee that nobody will be leaving your fate in God's hands. Being a non-believer won't lead to the anarchy that God-botherers love to claim. We like our own well-being enough to not trust others to respect it, which is why we came up with a secular justice system. No God required. I'd feel much less safe in a world where the only authority is an unseen God whose alleged punishments are done in ways we can't witness, and where we have to trust our safety and security to the conscience of others. That world sounds terrifying.
Does atheism have the power to transform like Christianity does?
Absolutely not.
Okay, let's be fair. Atheism, by its nature, in and of itself, will not transform anybody. But becoming an atheist when previously religious will definitely transform people. I wasn't raised religious, but I've heard so many deconversion stories. The sheer number of people who stop being complete rat bastards after abandoning their xenophobic religions. The number of people whose lives vastly improved after leaving such toxic faiths. Atheism transforms, just not in ways these guys like.
And again, nowhere does the church ever say that anyone who's not a Christian is not a good person. We say the opposite.
What, are you kidding me over here? Hands up, atheists, if you've heard this one quoted at you. Psalm 14:1. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. As an atheist, I hear this one a lot. I love to respond with Matthew 5:22, which says that if you call someone a fool, you're in danger of hell. Point being that, yeah, we're often told that we're rotten people just because we don't believe your nonsense.
Because again, I think the deepest need in everyone is to be loved. And we do everything to try to get that. And so when we start dealing with God, if we see God as this big monster that, controls or doesn't control.
The puppet master.
Exactly. Then I don't want anything to do with that. Well, neither do I. I want to be in relationship with someone who's going to love me.
So why don't you go out and make some real friends?
And so our job is to reach out to all these people, Catholics, non-Catholics, atheists, agnostics, whatever, and say, there is a God who loves you. And if you just come a little way, God will come the rest of the way to you.
If God wants to be my friend so bad, how about he makes the first move? Make God break the ice. Actually showing up instead of being invisible would be a great start. His voice being audible instead of easily mistaken for my own imagination would be a great gesture. 'Cause it kind of matters whether God actually exists or not, and I'm not taking any so-called first steps until that part is settled.
Well, as a shrink, I've met a lot of atheists, a lot of people who doubt the existence of God. And if they come to God, they will almost always tell you, I'm a much different person now than I was when I thought I was nice and good.
Sure.
Funny thing, you'll hear a lot of atheists who used to be religious saying exactly the same thing. They thought they were good and pure with God. Turns out they was acting like complete buttheads and being cruel to other people. You know, just once I'd like to see a theist stand up and explicitly say that, yeah, they get it. They see why it's awfully difficult to believe in an invisible God, that they see why it looks like imagination taken too far. Even if they don't agree with our position, just that moment of empathy, without all of the usual bullcrap about atheists just want to sin or some other silly reason we aren't religious which has nothing to do with religion's implausibility. Just that tiny token of respect for our position would be so rare and amazing. Amazing because it's so rare. Alas, it'll never be. Until next time, fellow space travelers, this is BionicDance saying don't run on automatic. Instead, please think. Without all of the usual bullcrap about atheists just want to sin or some other silly reason we aren't... Damn it! Oh, almost a blooper-free video. No. This is the last shot. Ugh. Damn it. Without all of the usual bullcrap about atheists who just want to sin, or who some of it... Oh. Man, this last bit is gonna kill me.
Captain's log. We are investigating an asteroid field where we've had reports of strange signals. So far we've found nothing, but our reconnaissance continues.
Captain, unidentified object approaching.
Scan object.
Aye, scanning object.
Captain, the object appears to be bombarding us with Patreon particles.
Is there any damage?
None. In fact, it seems to be giving us even more strength.
Fascinating. It seems that Patreon beams are a benefit to our mission. We must seek out more Patreonic life forms. Plot course and prepare to engage Bionic Drive.
And remember, if it can't be in your hand, it's all in your head.